Hi Collective, welcome to the channel. I'm Crystal, a divine oracle, delivering messages to you from the higher realms. Welcome in everyone. So I'm going to label this one Keepers of the Light. Okay, this is going to be for all my light workers, all of my star seeds, earth angels, 144K, all of my spiritual teachers, everybody that feels guided to this reading, really, right? I'm going to be disclosing a lot of things in this reading, my downloads, what I was really feeling coming through today in meditation. Something I've wanted to talk about for a little while, and I've been hesitant, right, because of how it was going to hit the spiritual community. Okay, because there's some of you like, you know, this is a time of revelations, right? Where things are being revealed. And for a lot of us that have been on this teaching path, and then, you know, when sometimes you find out the falsities and the things that you were, you know, believing and subscribing to or whatever, and you find these things out, then you're like, oh my gosh, like I've been teaching, I've been, you know, sharing this false knowledge, right? Like, has this been making me like a false teacher, a false prophet, right? But, you know, I don't want you to hold judgment on yourself for that, like, because you need to know that, I'm putting that out there because I'm going to be talking about, okay, you can finish them. I'm going to be talking about like, karma, okay, and the things that are coming down as well. But I don't want you to like put yourself in that same category, because if you unknowingly, you know, you're uncovering these things, you're not intentionally putting that out there, okay? The fact that it's even hitting you like, oh my gosh, like, yes, I was teaching this, I was delivering this false teaching or information or whatever, like, you know, Most High already knows that, you know, you're being corrected. The important thing is that you know now, it was illuminated to you, it was shown to you, and that is when things start to. It's these ones that willingly know that they are, you know, spreading falsities and teaching and misleading, right? But see, it's like if you didn't know, then you're not in the knowing. And I know that it can get a little bit, especially when I talk about like the karma that's being paid, like it's a little bit different, right, than my spiritual teachers here, right? Because you're of high vibration, so the fact that you were led astray by falsities, it's different than these beings that are of a low vibration that are being subjected and being controlled by demonic forces and things like that. There's a difference. I hope I'm explaining this well enough, because I feel that I want this to come out right, and this is why I was hesitant at giving it before, because I know that I've done that to myself, right? Where when I found out things, I'm like, oh my gosh, but I was sharing that too, right? So I hope that came out right. Okay, so Keepers of the Light, where I'm going to be pulling different cards as I go through the channeled messages, right? And some of them could be coming through with different messages, as I work very much with these ascended masters, deities, you know, whoever, you know, wants to come through. Mary Magdalene, you know, is very significant for me, right? So very strongly with all of her teachings coming through here. And as the teacher awakens, like for some of you, you know, you're being guided here because I'm awakening you to this, right? And, you know, it's important that you have, in Age of Aquarius, it's important that you have all of the right knowledge that you are teaching, right? Okay, like here's the first thing that I'm going to say. Now, why this is such a spiritual battle, right? As we say, the final battle, spirituality versus religion, is because of all of the falsities in the teachings, confirmation, right? And the hiddenness and the separation and the dividing and everything that they have done. Okay. So, and I know in these times, right, as we've went through the end of times. I mean, like we're here now, but everything has already been, kind of like the end of times has already been playing out. I've been actually saying that we are beyond the Bible, because the things that are being exposed and revealed are not in. We're revealing all of the things that are hidden. Okay, so for those of you that are still like looking for the end of times, you're still looking into the Bible, and like looking for those end of times and looking for those synchronicities. Like, you need to stop doing that. If you're still talking about the second coming of Christ, a second coming of Jesus, up in the clouds or whatever, it says or whatever, like, that needs to stop. You need to know that you're following outdated indoctrinations and teachings through the Bible, okay? Or whatever it could be. And I know a lot are not gonna, you need to know that the second coming is Christ consciousness. It's within. It's the knowledge that you're opening to higher states within the mind. New earth is here. We have reached new earth. Heaven on earth is available to you now. We are starting to phase out all of the things. All of the darkness, the light is being shined upon all of the darkness, and it's getting louder, yes, as it falls. If you've already can look around at all of the things, like the famine has already been ongoing, all right? And people are starting to turn away from the foods and the things that are getting poisoned and starting to go in more natural routes. There's more people, the communities are coming together and already starting. Do you see what I mean? That's why I knew that the true saving was not in the end. So if you're trying to play out the destructive ending times of the Bible, you're not here helping. You are giving false teachings. You are being a false prophet. Okay? Now, I know we're so used to, going to the Bible for direction and all of that, okay? Or many have. But that's not what it's about, right? The Bible was really, it's about encoding it, right? There's so much symbolism, okay, within there, right? Where there was so much falsities because they weren't teaching that way, but it's kind of like how we put things out there for you to discover. It's like it was like seeded for us to discover at a time like this. Okay, like there's many false things, like it never should have imposed fear. They used it as a way to control, to separate, to divide, where that should have never been, right? Just like I never understood why everybody, I mean, I understand now why I felt this way, but why everybody goes around and like wears the crosses and, seeing the statues everywhere. And I'm like, why does everybody worship the sacrifice, that Jesus was murdered, was killed, right? For going around telling everybody that we are all one, we were all God. He was exposing everything that we've been so turned away from, and that's why they weaponize so much of it. And that's why the occult, which if you really look up the meaning of a cult, it doesn't mean we are a cult or witches and cults and things like that. It's discovering what is hidden, what is the teachings behind everything. These are ancient teachings that we are bringing back. Okay, so that's what I mean. And I know for a lot of you that, have relied upon the Bible and the things that, like, you need to know that you can be looking into deciphering different things and looking for the symbolism now if you still feel to use it that way. But to try to play out the end of times, the destruction of earth, like, that's not going to happen. Okay, we're here in new earth. That's why I said we are beyond the Bible. And for the second coming of Christ, it's Christ consciousness within. Okay, and I've always said that the ones in the very beginning of times are here now, as they have been. We have been here. Okay, what if I was to tell you that Jesus has already incarnated and has already been among you? Have you ever thought of that? Did you ever think that do you think it just because the way that it came down in the beginning of the Bible? Oh, wait, that's right. Because they put it in a certain way that everybody's waiting to see this play out in a certain way, but it's all symbolic, right? The true saving is from within, right? So that's what I mean. Like, so many people are going around sharing these falsities still. And whenever I find that, I know that it's Some of these are beautiful souls that are just unawakened and still looking and waiting. And I know a lot of us, like, we are feeling this energy at this time, but you're holding yourself back and you're misleading others. Okay, so if you're one that's doing that, then you need to stop, because you are not helping with the collective at this time, right? We don't need to be giving into fear, right? You cannot have faith and fear at the same time. So you need to release that where you're imposing fear. Do you see what I mean? You're leaving yourself open. That's why I was going on with the reading that I gave the other day, where I said that some of you are subjecting yourself to being compromised by dark forces because of certain invocations that you are doing as well. Because Jesus never wanted to be idolized, okay? And many idols and false beliefs and things have been put upon that. It was never supposed to be that. God Most High. Really, Jesus is Son of God. In Hebrew, Son means extension of God. Jesus was very much a star seed, as many of you are, and just like Jesus, you are here now spreading the knowledge to Christ consciousness, the teachings. You have the same teachings as Jesus. Are you walking around wanting to be idolized, wanting to be? That's why I said, if you're one where you are giving invocations and you're here looking for subscribers, you're here looking for the likes and, things like that, that's your driving force, you're being a false prophet, whether you realize it or not, and you're leaving yourself subjected to those attacks. Now, and some have been so heavily feeling they need heavy protection that you're actually invoking the Jezebel spirit. You are invoking the Jesuit spirits, which are ones that run through the religious communities. You're invoking these spirits that are running because it was a way of trickery and control. And that is why, like, with the doors being opened, okay, it was really these doors that were really opening up a sigil to Lucifer, okay, which is it works either way. This is a very beautiful time to set you free from within, but not if you're holding on to any dark energies. They're going to be purged out. They're going to come to the surface, because it's really about integrating that darkness and the light, okay? And it's not fearing, there's so many ways, there's so many different teachings that I can go off of this. But anyway, so I don't want to go too much down that path, but what I'm saying is that's why the ones that are not awakened, or the ones that are running to go very, very religious and things like that, they're more subjected to getting these attacks and these rise of energy. So the ones that are feeling the dark, heavy energy taking over control, the ones that are heavily going down the religious and the invocations, like, you need to be careful of that, okay? Because they're ones that could be leading you down the path. Like I said, it's a beautiful thing to know what is going on, right? And that's what's so beautiful at the spiritual community too, is we help others find the truth and clarity of what's going on in the world. But is what you're spreading and teaching, is it making others in that dark energy? Is it making others start to get angry, mad, depressed, revengeful? So you need to be careful at what you're teaching and sharing and showing. Is it in fact doing that? Are you doing that? If you are, you're being a false prophet, a false teacher. You're misleading the masses down the path of darkness and not to the path of light. That's where we're running into this split and this divide at this time. That's why there is a lot that is going on within the spiritual community, right? And even I've been seeing some of my beautiful readers that I've been following getting compromised. Not all, just some. I need to put that out there, because some of you know very much that you're connected with me, and I know that you're receiving my content, my word, and making these changes. Always check in with yourself, right? Okay, make sure that when you're connecting with Most High, that you're not putting it into a single entity, okay? one here on the physical plane, okay? But the second coming, it has already been ongoing. This has been all of the important key players that were here in the very beginning are here now and have been here, have been walking judgment for these times. Okay, so I feel that's very important to get out there. Hidden in plain sight too, just so you know that. You know, you never know when you're in the presence of an angel, right? Or God's chosen. That's why you should never have held judgment, or anybody should never really hold judgment on another, because we're not to do so. And you don't know if you are cursing one of God's chosen ones, right? Especially the ones that are here at this time, awakening the masses to the real teachings. And I know a lot of us have been hesitant to say certain things because of judgment and evil eye and things like that. You don't realize that black magic is simply casting spells with words and having emotions and intention behind them. There are so many cults out there that are people that have got together and formed these religious cults because they're so indoctrinated. They don't realize that if they're very, very heavily religious and they're invoking and they're being an enchantress, is that right? Enchantress, and enchanting and siphoning these prayers and going to church and reciting these things, and especially like, you don't realize what you're doing at this time. You're very much a cult. Cults, literally, it could be just a few people together that are gossiping under false beliefs. You're creating spell work and intent. And for that, judgment and karma is already coming back around, right? Okay, so this is now where I wanted to get into the karma. Okay, and the cursing, right? It's like, okay, so for a lot of these karmic relationships and cycles that have been closing out, right? Because a lot of God's chosen earth angels, prophets have been heavily under attack, and the masses knew, or the power that be, the dark workers, right, knew very much who they were, so they've been constantly attacked, right? As the chosen ones know, you've been attacked since birth, right? The moment you were here, you had angels and demons both assigned to you, and you've constantly went back and forth battling these. Okay, because they did not want you to, because anyway, I'm not going to get into all of that. Chosen ones know who they are, but this is time for their vindication. This is the time for them to be vindicated for every single thing that came against them, every single word that was spoken against them, every single curse, every single black magic, spell work, evil eye that was sent against them, because of karma and the balancing that needs to be served, right? So for a lot of you, like, you're realizing that if you were in these toxic cycles and patterns, even with family, friends, those closest to you, these karmic cycles, if they have not closed or cleared, or they are at this time, right? And many are experiencing separation, okay? And that's why many of you have been called to go into isolation, have gone into separation. It was for your protection. Many of your so-called, karmic family, friends, people that have went against you, are experiencing the purgatory at this time, or spiritual jail. A lot are awaiting spiritual court. There is a lot of things that are being ruled and are being done. And for a lot there, it's kind of like a test too. Cease and assist, I heard. For some, they've been told to stop what they were doing. They've been shown. For a lot of you, you need to know that you were walking karma, right? As we have been using our eyes to show God, divine source, most high, a lot of what is going on in our world. Okay, so yeah, I was getting that there's this love-hate. So for a lot of people too, you could be experiencing this where you're seeing people starting to flip, because as you pull back your energy, for some of you being separated and isolated, they're starting to feel the separation, and for a lot, it's aggravating the dark energies, the demonic energies from within. Okay. And feeling these is causing them to do hate, and unfortunately causing more things to be said, to be done, to be gossip. Because you know, sometimes when people, they can love you so much, but if they don't have something loving to say, they want to talk about you, they're going to talk about you in the energy that they find themselves in, which could be in a lower state, right? And especially if they're being influenced by these dark energies and this rise of this darkness that we're feeling. But that was all part of the plan to really try to everything. I'm not going to try to explain all part of the dark forces agenda and everything. I don't feel I need to put all of that out there, but it works in two ways. It's like a double-edged sword, right? Okay, so spiritual court, karma backfires, trauma bonds. For a lot of you, there was trauma bonds. A lot of you trauma bonded to certain things, right? So a lot of those things are being cleared out at this time. Okay. And so for the ones that have been experiencing a lot of backfires due to spell work, black magic, evil eye, and all of that, a lot of them could still be not seeing you in your true light. As for your protection, as the chosen are protected at this, I mean, they're starting to come up, but for some, like, they're starting to see you in your light. They're starting to realize by not having your energy, they're having to sit with themselves and realizing the absence of your energy. They're really starting to see themselves and the things that they have been doing and saying against you. But some just are not understanding that these are literally backfires of what they are projecting and doing. So it's like literally everything that they're casting and saying and doing towards you is boomeranging right back at them. For some, they're realizing it, so they're coming back around, trying to repent, trying to apologize, trying to get into your good graces, but it's literally to lessen the karma. But you need to know at this time that you need to be strong, right? That judgment needs to be served for what had been done. Okay, it's part of the retribution, like it needs to be served that way. It needs to happen. Okay, so like it's not up to us anymore to like clear karma, to lead people that are under judgment at this time. I hope that that's making sense, right? Okay, so, and for some, like, some of these judgments that are coming down are rather severe. Like, there's literally been a lot of death magic and things like that. And even though people might not understand what they were casting, just still, the power and the energy and the intent, right? I mean, it's coming back around. I mean, and I know that there's a lot for some of you. You don't want to see the karma that is going to be coming down for some of these individuals, but you have to know that you were only able to see, like, you know how your enemies and stuff were shielded from seeing you. For some of you, like, you were shielded from seeing some of what they were doing. That's why you don't really know somebody's like true, and you don't know somebody's true feelings within. People can mask their feelings and their energies. Like I said, for a lot of you, some of these people are literally coming around because they know that they no longer have your spiritual protection. They know that they're facing their karma, so they're scared. Okay, but some of these people literally wanted to unalive you, right? And some, I was getting, literally were doing actual poisoning. Okay, but you think that you were going to get to be able to take out the chosen, the earth angels? Do you think any of that was going to work? Do you don't think that they were heavily cloaked and protected? That's why for some, they're starting to realize, like, oh my gosh, that's why none of my stuff was working. Oh my God, they're chosen. Like, literally, that's what's coming out at this time. So for some of you, like, with that, the death magic, there's some things, some lines were crossed that cannot be undone. Some things are literally out of your hands, okay? You need to know that. Some of them were literally destiny swapping too. So a lot of these destiny swaps have failed. For some, they may have made it may have seemed as though they had gotten away with it. Some of them were benefiting off of your karma. Some of them wanted your destiny, right? Well, little did they know everything that a chosen one must to endure everything that they must feel. But because you're warriors of the light, you were built to be able to withstand and handle all of the things that were coming against you. For others of them, they're going to get to experience it. They're not going to be able to make it. They're not going to be able to handle it. Okay. Do my prophets no harm was the final thing that I wrote down. This is the justice that the chosen, the 144,000 have been waiting for. And that's what I mean, like this is literally what is being experienced at this time. Some of the justice too, after things have been handled out, literally it all depends. Every case is different. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that's being handled. I heard all the petty stuff was being handled first, so a lot of the little petty things that you may have been seeing. So for some, like they're starting to realize that their karma has just started to begin, right? But the major things are starting to come down. And for some, like the karma literally is to see the chosen ones get elevated at this time, them getting all of their blessings, their abundance, their rewards, getting pushed into the spotlight, getting their new contracts, leveling up, things like that. So literally that's what's coming. And all right, so I'm going to leave this one here. Let's pull a few cards because I'm almost at 30 minutes. And I try to go with what I teach here. I try to say I don't like to pull on y'all's energy too much. Keep my readings around 30 minutes. Okay, so let's get some cards from the Keepers of the Light. Who are some of the Keepers of the Light that were here delivering some of these messages through me? The Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit, come through. Expect miracles. Miracles are literally happening now. Remember that only love is real. Miracles will occur naturally. Spirit has your back. Yeah, I was getting wealth transfers too. Wealth transfers are literally coming out. Any of the things that were done in the darkness, inheritances that were stolen, forged documents, hidden bank accounts, hidden things. It's been brought to my attention of like life insurance policies and things like that. Some of you have had life insurance policies out on you and literally have been poisoned by family or spouses or whatever to try to take you out, right? And you need to know, just release and just they do not know what they do, right? It's the dark forces within, right? A lot of these spirits and these entities that have been running rampant and through these individuals is why they were doing such things. So just release, right? Forgiveness, even when things are being exposed at this time. Kuan Yin, care and compassion is here. Saint Germain. I'm sorry, I don't know this is Ascended Master. I'm holding up the card here. Soul expansion. Your consciousness is expanding. You understand the connection between all things. Karma releasing, moving beyond drama, creating your own path and make room for good energy. Kuan Yin is about care and compassion. Choose to be love. Do what is right for everyone involved and offer a helping hand. And then we have Hilaron, divine healing here as well. I see 2808 on the clock. So it's a source code number. Some of you can look up for additional messages. Honor your sensitivity. Retreat to recharge and heal. Your light can support others. This is very beautiful. So see, there is so much beautiful energy. Oh, and the divine director. We're going to end it there with the divine director, intervention and purpose. Divine intervention is occurring. Now that you are being guided, happiness is your purpose. For some of you, you could have abruptly had situations and stuff close out with this black new moon. And literally, it's a lot of you, it's because you were not going to be blocked from your destiny, your timelines, your true twin flame divines, where you were supposed to be. So for some of you, you just need to release and let go, because it takes a little bit of processing out everything. And for some of you, things are waiting 2909 because you need to see some of the karma that's going to be played out here. And then you get to move on. Okay, because for some of you, you're giving that forgiveness. You're giving that, you're telling yourself, like, I'm giving, forgiving, loving, and healing. But at the same time, you're like, oh, but they did me so wrong. Right? So for some of you, 29 on the clock, as I say that, like, once these cycles are closed out and done, it's fully going to let you move on. Okay? And that's why for some of you, like, it's like as these cycles close out, these new ones, like, that's what's going on. Everything is all in divine timing. right? And I'm going to leave it here. Love and light to all of you. Bye, guys.